Hi, I'm Anna. I'm a wife and mom, registered nurse, educator for creatives, and one half of the Destination Wedding Photography and Videography team, Anna and Mateo. Today I'm sharing something a little different on our channel. It's something I'm really passionate about and something I'm continuing to learn about, but it might not be applicable to everyone, and that's okay. If it's not, feel free to pass on by this one and come back next week for another film. Today I'm going to share with you some hacks and tips for breastfeeding and pumping for the working mom. I went back to work after about 3 months of maternity leave with my first, and it was really challenging in a lot of ways. I think one of the hardest things was going from being with her all day, every day, all night, nursing every couple hours, to having to navigate pumping and figure out, how to get her to take a bottle, how much milk to have saved for her. All those sort of logistical things definitely added stress to the process, not to mention missing her, of course. So I'm going to be sharing with you a few hacks and tips and tricks, things that I learned from pumping for 18 months, as well as nursing at home. I did not exclusively pump, but this would certainly work for people who are exclusively pumping as well. And if you are doing that, Mama, you're amazing. That is so challenging. Worth it 100%, but really hard. So keep up the good work, and hopefully these tips can help you. So I would work 12-hour shifts overnight at the hospital, as well as my normal job or other job as a wedding photographer, videographer. So I sort of had these two different scenarios that I was trying to pump and fit in pumping and work that all out through. So these things work for all of the above scenarios, as well as office jobs or other situations where you're working and have to pump to make milk for your child. So one of the first things that was an absolute lifesaver for me was a good pumping bra. I went through a couple different ones, and I found one that was my personal favorite. But I know everyone has their own preferences. This is so beat up, so it's kind of embarrassing I'm showing you this, but I think it will explain the difference between a pumping bra and a nursing bra. So this was my favorite bra, called is by Kindred Bravely, which is a great brand for nursing and pumping bras and maternity wear and that sort of thing. And it has, can be used as a normal nursing bra, so it kind of like straps down here, or all the way rather here. But then it also has sort of this little place where you put the flange for pumping. And this makes the pumping experience at work a million times better, a million times less stressful, because you're able to just be hands-free. Pumping is not a super comfortable thing, at least for me, but when I could at least like sit back and drink some water or read a little bit or look at my phone, it allowed it to be more of a break instead of hard work, because pumping, at least for me, felt like work. It didn't feel like a break or a relaxing time. Another thing, kind of these go hand in hand, that I think is really helpful when you are starting your postpartum journey, getting to know your little baby and preparing for going back to work, is to start your supply early. Obviously, anything I'm recommending to you, talk to your doctors or lactation consultants about it. Everyone is different. Everyone's experience is different. This is what's worked for me and people I've worked with, but it's not like a hard, fast rule. However, I do recommend starting to pump a little bit early to build your supply up. At the least, start with a Haka pump or a similar pump. There's several brands out there that sort of just can sit on the other breast while you're nursing your baby. And this should not like make you have an oversupply if you start doing it even right away. Essentially what it does is catches your letdown. So when you nurse on one side, it will catch the letdown from the other so that you can start storing that milk. A lot of people will get 2 or 3 ounces from just a feed with the Haka. And if you just pop that in the freezer right away, it's an easy way, painless way to start building your supply up. Once you start feeling comfortable or your doctor or lactation consultant recommends it, start pumping. in between feeds or after the baby's done. If your supply is already regulated, it shouldn't affect that at all, and it's a good way to build your supply up ahead of time so you're not having to work like shift by shift or day by day and hoping you have enough. I know there have been times when I've like run low on supply and always been a little bit nervous about, is she gonna have enough tonight? Like, oh no, there's only a couple bags in there in the freezer or whatever. Not to mention if you had any emergencies, had to go to the hospital or be on a medication that didn't allow for pumping, it's just such a peace of mind to have a nice stash in your freezer. So start pumping when you can, in between feeds, after feeds. If you're worried about your supply dwindling, you can start power pumping. There's a lot of great resources for that. And using a Haka, those are two really, really great options for you. The other thing that goes hand in hand with this is introducing a bottle early enough. I know everyone has their own sort of opinion and feelings on like nipple confusion and that sort of thing. So again, once you've talked to your pediatrician and your lactation consultant and they feel comfortable with you starting, get your baby used to taking a bottle here and there. Not only will it give you a break on occasion and your body a break from breastfeeding, which can be painful, or uncomfortable is a better word. It can allow other people to start bonding with the baby, like maybe your partner or your parents or that sort of thing. Or if they're going to have a nanny, it'll get the baby used to somebody else feeding them, taking breast milk from something other than you, and it will help alleviate a lot of the stress a lot of moms feel when they go back to work, worrying that their baby's not going to take a bottle. Another product that was so helpful for me was the brand I use is Medela, but I think there might be other brands that make them. They're just microwavable bags for sanitizing. I know there's lots of different trays and options. People can just pop them in the dishwasher, that sort of thing. This worked the best for me because I didn't work daily, and so I didn't bring my pumping supplies all home with me every single day. So these little microwavable bags, I wish I had one to show you, but I'll include a link so that you can see what they are. They're just like almost normal plastic packaging bags, but they're designed to be used, I think, 20 or 25 times. And every time you put them in with a little bit of water, and the steam creates an environment for sanitizing the pumping part. So wash them with soap and water and then pop them in the bag, and you can sanitize them in like just whatever microwave you have available at work, or bring them home and do it as well. But it's a great way to save sort of the headache of washing and sanitizing each part or boiling or whatever each part. And it's certainly much faster than throwing them in the dishwasher for a sanitizing cycle. And my last tip for pumping, for today at least, is sort of goes into the environment you're pumping in, what you're putting in your body, just how to be successful and feel less stressed about the whole experience. I know it's when you're one of the main sources of nutrition for your child, or the only source of nutrition for your child, it can be so overwhelming to worry that you're producing enough or good enough quality, or are they gaining weight? Do I have the supply I need? All those questions, I think, pop into almost every mom's head while they're going through a breastfeeding journey. And I think there's a few like core basics of breastfeeding and pumping that can really help alleviate some of the stress and make things a little more straightforward. And it just goes into what are you putting in your body. And a lot of that's just what are you eating, what are you drinking, are you drinking enough? Again, with the hands-free bra, I loved being able to just bring in like a huge 2-quart water bottle of ice water with me when I would sit in the room and pump, and try to drink as much of that as I could, as well as staying really hydrated the rest of the day. And then eating good food, just eating enough calories. I see so many moms worrying about losing their baby weight. But, don't worry about losing a baby weight. Your body has done amazing things, and you're nourishing a child. It's okay to hold on to a little weight or to have some, a different body shape. That's totally fine. And so just make sure you're getting enough calories and the right calories. Good nutrition matters. There's lots of things you can eat and drink, and maybe I'll go into that in a different video. But really for me, it was just making sure I was eating enough and drinking enough, as well as making a nice, calm, relaxing environment. I have some pretty stressful jobs and it can be hard to step away, but stepping out of that and trying to take my mind off work was so helpful. I loved just looking at little videos and photos of my baby on my phone because of course I missed her, but also it helped sort of release the oxytocin, which further let down and allowed me to pump more. And I think it really also made it just a more enjoyable experience since it's not overly comfortable. It's sort of tedious and just another thing to check off your to-do list for the day. But if you can try to make it enjoyable, you might look forward to it a little more and end up producing more or being able to pull more out. So I think I'm going to leave it there for now. I have a lot more to share with you, but this is sort of the basics for working and pumping. And again, if you're on this journey, I'm so proud of you. It really is hard, but it's so worth it. If you have questions, please feel free to email me or leave them below, and I'm happy to answer them. And check back for more videos on breastfeeding, women's health, motherhood, all of the above. Thanks so much for watching, and have a wonderful evening.